Ambassador Dayun Kim walked through the massive halls of the Galactic Council building on Nexus Prime. The crystal walls stretched high above her head. Reaching toward the artificial sky that showed stars from across the galaxy, she carried a small device in her hands that contained humanity's greatest gift to the galaxy, quantum phase shields that could protect entire planets from attack. Dayun had been Earth's voice in the Galactic Council for 12 years. She remembered when humans first joined this great alliance of species 127 years ago. Back then, humans were the newcomers, eager to learn and help. Now they were respected members who had solved many problems and stopped several wars between alien races. Today felt different, though. As Da'un entered the main council chamber, she noticed strange things. The tall, blue-skinned Valari representatives whispered to each other and looked away when she smiled at them. The insect-like Krex delegates clicked their mandibles nervously. Even the peaceful Taurians, who usually greeted her warmly, seemed cold and distant. Dayun took her place at the human delegation seats. The chamber was enormous, with representatives from 47 different species arranged in a great circle. Each species had their own section with seats designed for their unique bodies. Humans sat in simple chairs, but around them were representatives with tentacles, multiple arms, or bodies that floated in special tanks. Today we present humanity's latest contribution to galactic peace, Dayun announced when her turn came to speak. She activated the device and a hologram appeared above the chamber floor. These quantum phase shields can protect entire star systems from any known weapon. We offer this technology freely to all council members. The reaction was not what she expected. Instead of excitement or gratitude, Da'un saw worried looks exchanged between alien representatives. The Valari delegate, Counselor Thex, spoke first. "This is impressive, Ambassador Kim. We will need time to study this technology carefully." Something in his voice made Da'un uncomfortable. She had worked with Thex for years and had never heard him sound so formal and cold. Far away in the outer rim of the galaxy, Captain Jin-Ho Lee commanded his patrol ship through the darkness between stars. His ship, the HSS Defiance, was one of humanity's newest vessels. It moved silently through space, watching for pirates or other threats to peaceful trade ships. Jin-Ho had been a ship captain for 15 years. He was good at his job and proud to serve both humanity and the Galactic Council. His crew of 30 humans worked well together, and they had stopped many crimes in this part of space. But today, his communications officer, Lieutenant Bo-Ra Shin, brought him strange news, Captain. "I'm picking up encrypted signals between several alien fleets," she said, her face worried. "They're using old Council military codes, but the messages are heavily scrambled." Jin-Ho frowned. "Can you decode them?" "I'm trying, sir, but whatever they're discussing, they really don't want anyone else to hear it." Jin-Ho ordered his ship to move closer to the source of the signals. What they found made his blood run cold. 3 large alien fleets, Valari, Krex, and Taurian ships, were meeting in secret in empty space. These species had never worked together before, and they had no reason to meet in this remote location. "Keep recording everything," Jin-Ho told his crew, "and prepare a message probe to send back to Earth. Something is very wrong here." Back on Nexus Prime, Dayun finished her presentation and returned to her private office. The building was quieter than usual. Many alien delegates had left quickly after the session ended. Without the usual small talk and social meetings that normally followed council sessions, Dr. Mi-Young Choi, Earth's chief scientist advisor to the council, entered Da'un's office looking pale and frightened. "Da'un, we have a serious problem," Mi-Young said, closing the door behind her. "I've been analyzing biological samples that several species requested from us over the past year. They said it was for medical research to help human colonists adapt to new worlds." "What did you find?" Dayun asked. "They weren't studying adaptation. They were developing weapons. Biological weapons designed specifically to kill humans." Mi-Young's hands shook as she spoke. "The samples show they've been working on this for decades. Poisons that only affect human biology. Viruses that attack human genetic structures. Dayun, they've been planning to kill us for a very long time." Dayun felt the room spin around her. "That's impossible. We're allies. We've helped them solve problems, stopped wars, shared our technology. Maybe that's exactly why they want to destroy us," Mi-Young whispered. At that moment, alarms began ringing throughout the council building. Emergency lights flashed red, and automated voices announced in dozens of languages, All human personnel report to designated safe areas immediately. This is not a drill. Dayun and Mi-young ran to the windows and looked out at the space above Nexus Prime. The sight made them both gasp in horror. Hundreds of alien warships surrounded the planet, ships from every species in the Council except humanity. They were all pointing their weapons downward. On his patrol ship, Jin-ho finally decoded part of the alien messages. The words he read made him feel sick. All units, the human threat must be eliminated before they become too powerful to stop. Their rapid advancement in technology and their aggressive expansion poses an existential danger to all peaceful species. The Council has voted unanimously, excluding the human delegation, to expel humanity and contain the threat permanently. Jin-ho immediately sent a priority message to all human ships and colonies. This is Captain Lee of the HSS Defiance. All human forces are under attack. The Galactic Council has betrayed us. This is not a drill. Prepare for immediate combat. Back on Nexus Prime, Dayun and Mi-young watched in terror as alien ships began bombing human settlements on nearby moons. The quantum phase shields Dayun had just offered to protect everyone were now being used only to protect alien worlds from human retaliation. Admiral Hyun-woo Park, commander of Earth's defense fleet, received Jin-ho's warning just as alien fleets appeared around Earth itself. Hundreds of enemy ships surrounded humanity's homeworld. Park had commanded Earth's defenses for 20 years, but he had never faced an enemy like this. All human colonies are under attack, his communications officer reported. Enemy fleets outnumber us 10-1 in every system. Park watched the tactical display showing red enemy symbols surrounding every human world. His own fleet of 50 ships faced over 500 alien vessels. It seemed hopeless. Then his personal communicator received a coded message from deep space. The message contained only coordinates and a few words. Protocol Omega-7. The sleeper awakens. Park stared at the message. Omega-7 was a code he had hoped never to hear. It meant humanity's greatest secret was about to be revealed. As Earth's orbital defenses began to fall under alien bombardment, Park made a decision that would change the galaxy forever. Set course for the coordinates, he ordered his navigator. It's time our allies learned who they're really fighting. The alien fleet commanders expected humanity to fight desperately to defend their colonies and retreat toward Earth. Instead, something happened that had never occurred in galactic history. Human forces completely ignored traditional military tactics and began attacking in ways that violated every rule of civilized warfare. Captain Ye Jin, CO, commanded a squadron of 12 human ships that officially didn't exist. Her vessels were experimental stealth frigates built in secret at Forge Station. They were smaller than normal warships but equipped with cloaking technology that made them completely invisible to alien sensors. Target identified, her weapons officer reported. Valari Supply Convoy, 17 ships carrying food and medical supplies to their forward bases. In a normal war, supply ships carrying humanitarian aid would be left alone. But Admiral Park's orders had been clear. The rules of war no longer applied. Destroy them all, Ye Jin ordered calmly. Her ships attacked without warning. The Valari convoy never saw the weapons fire that obliterated them. But Ye Jin wasn't finished. She sent a message to the Valari Fleet Command, along with video footage of the attack. This is Captain CO of the Human Defense Force. Your supply lines are no longer safe. Every ship carrying resources to your military forces will be destroyed. If you want your soldiers to eat, end this war now. Similar attacks began happening across the galaxy. Human stealth ships appeared without warning to destroy alien communication relays, supply depots, and even civilian infrastructure that supported the war effort. For the first time in galactic history, a species was deliberately targeting non-military assets. Colonel Min-Soo Jang led a different kind of operation. His marine unit specialized in boarding and capturing enemy ships. But instead of taking prisoners or following standard capture protocols, they did something that terrified alien crews throughout the galaxy. Krek's battlecruiser disabled and boarded. Colonel, reported Sergeant Ha-Young Kim, crew of 400 neutralized. Install the packages and evacuate, Min-Soo ordered. 20 minutes later, the captured Krek ship exploded in the middle of an alien fleet formation. But it wasn't an ordinary explosion. The ship had been rigged with one of Forge Station's singularity devices. The resulting black hole consumed 6 other alien vessels before finally dissipating. Min-Su broadcast a message to all remaining alien fleets. Surrender your ships immediately, or they will become weapons we use against you. Resistance is not recommended. Dr. Ji-Hoon Bae ran the most unusual military operation in human history. He was a psychologist, not a soldier, but his work was devastating alien morale across the galaxy. Using captured alien communication networks, he began broadcasting information that struck terror into alien minds. Citizens of the Galactic Council, his voice reached every alien world simultaneously. Your leaders have started a war with humanity. They believe they can win because they outnumber us. We would like to show you some things they didn't tell you about human military capabilities. The broadcasts showed footage of human weapons tests that had been hidden for decades, planets being destroyed by singularity weapons, automated war machines that could reproduce themselves and spread like a virus across star systems, biological weapons that could eliminate entire species while leaving their worlds habitable for human colonization. These weapons have existed for 50 years. Dr. Bae's calm voice explained. We chose not to use them because we believed in peace. Your leaders have made peace impossible. They have 6 hours to surrender unconditionally, or we will demonstrate why humanity conquered a death world before reaching the stars. The psychological impact was immediate. Alien fleets began experiencing mass desertions as crew members refused to fight an enemy with such terrible weapons. Some alien ships surrendered without firing a shot. Others simply fled to distant parts of the galaxy. But the most shocking change in the war came from Captain Jin-Ho Lee, whose ship had been presumed destroyed in the initial alien assault. His vessel, the HSS Defiance, suddenly appeared in the middle of the largest alien fleet gathering. But something was wrong with his ship. It was 3 times larger than before, covered in strange armor, and bristling with weapons that hurt to look at directly. Most disturbing of all, it was towing a massive alien dreadnought behind it. This is Captain Lee to all alien forces, his voice broadcast across every communication channel. You destroyed my original ship and killed 30 of my crew members. I have spent the last week rebuilding my vessel using technology from your own ships. I've also converted your dreadnought into a weapon platform. Would you like to see how it works? The captured alien dreadnought began firing on its own former allies, but these weren't alien weapons. They were human modifications that turned the massive ship into a nightmarish fusion of technologies. Energy beams that could cut through any known armor. Projectile weapons that fired miniature black holes. Self-replicating hunter missiles that pursued fleeing ships across entire star systems. You wanted to see what humans are capable of when threatened. Jin-Ho continued as his converted weapon destroyed ship after ship. This is just the beginning. Every vessel you lose becomes a tool we can use against you. Every battle you fight teaches us how to kill you more efficiently. The alien fleet began to retreat, but Jin-Ho's ship followed them. The converted dreadnought moved faster than should have been possible for something so large. Worse, it seemed to be learning from each battle, adapting its weapons and tactics to become more deadly. Admiral Hyunwoo Park watched the reports coming in from across the galaxy. In less than a week, human forces had gone from defending desperately to hunting alien fleets like predators stalking prey. The quantum communication network allowed perfect coordination between all human forces, while the aliens struggled with communication delays across interstellar distances. Casualties report. Park requested from his intelligence officer. Human military losses, approximately 200 ships and 15,000 personnel. Alien losses, over 1,800 ships and estimated 4 million personnel. Several alien species have begun withdrawing from the conflict entirely. Park nodded grimly. The numbers were even worse than he had expected. Worse for the aliens. Human forces weren't just winning. They were systematically destroying everything the Galactic Council had built over centuries. Admiral, we're receiving surrender requests from several alien governments, his communications officer reported. What are they offering? Complete withdrawal from all human territories. Reparations for damages. Some are offering to become human protectorates. Park considered this. The war could end now with humanity victorious. They could return to the galaxy as it was before, but with humans in a stronger position. Then he thought about the poisoned children on human colonies. The decades of secret experiments. The betrayal by species humanity had considered friends. Send a response to all alien governments, Park ordered. Tell them that surrender is no longer an option. They chose to make this a war of extinction. We're simply better at extinction than they are. The message that went out across the galaxy was simple and terrifying. The Galactic Council declared war on humanity with the intent to destroy our species. We accept their challenge. This war will end only when we are certain that no alien species will ever again consider humanity a target. As human fleets began moving toward alien homeworlds, the galaxy realized that humanity had never been the peaceful species they pretended to be. They had been apex predators choosing to act civilized. That choice had now been taken away. The real war was just beginning. 2 years had passed since the Galactic Council's betrayal, and the galaxy was a very different place. The war had ended not with negotiations or treaties, but with the complete transformation of galactic civilization under human rule. Chancellor HFY Lee stood in what had once been the Galactic Council's main chamber on Nexus Prime. The building remained the same, but everything else had changed. Where alien representatives had once debated galactic law, human administrators now coordinated the governance of 47 former alien species across thousands of worlds. The chamber's walls still showed stars from across the galaxy, but now they were marked with human symbols indicating production quotas, resource extraction targets, and security status reports. The age of galactic democracy was over. The age of the human galactic empire had begun. Status report, Chancellor Lee requested from her advisors. Admiral Seung-ho Yoon, who commanded the post-war human fleet, spoke first. Our military forces now include over 12,000 vessels patrolling all major space lanes. No ships move between star systems without human authorization. We have established monitoring stations in every alien system to ensure compliance with our security protocols. The numbers were staggering. Before the war, humanity had controlled 800 ships. Now they commanded a fleet larger than all previous galactic military forces combined, built using resources stripped from conquered alien worlds. What about the alien populations? Chancellor Lee asked. 17 species were completely eliminated during the war. Admiral Yoon continued matter-of-factly. 12 others exist only in small populations under direct human supervision. The remaining 18 species have been integrated into our colonial administration system. Dr. Na-Young Kim, who led the post-war reconstruction effort, provided more details. All former alien worlds are now classified as either resource extraction sites, human colonies, or supervised reservations. We've relocated alien populations to ensure they cannot coordinate resistance efforts. The process had been systematic and efficient. Alien species that had shown the greatest hostility during the war simply no longer existed. Others had been moved to small areas on remote worlds where they could be easily monitored. Their advanced technology had been confiscated, and their weapons completely eliminated. The former Krex worlds are now our primary manufacturing centers, Dr. Kim continued. The aquatic hydros homeworlds serve as testing facilities for new technologies. The Taurian crystal cities have been converted into communication relay stations for our quantum network. Chancellor Lee nodded approvingly. The reconstruction was proceeding exactly as planned. Every resource in the galaxy now served human purposes, and every surviving alien was subject to human authority. Dr. Mi-Young Choi, now Director of Xenobiological Security, provided her regular report on alien population control. Her job was to ensure that no alien species could ever again threaten humanity. All alien species are now subject to genetic monitoring, she explained. We've installed biological control devices that prevent them from reproducing without human authorization. Any attempt to develop technology beyond pre-approved levels triggers automatic containment protocols. The system was foolproof. Alien species could maintain their cultures and basic way of life, but only as long as they remained completely dependent on human approval for everything from having children to building simple tools. Any signs of resistance? Chancellor Lee asked. None worth mentioning, Dr. Choi replied. The few groups that attempted rebellion were eliminated so quickly and thoroughly that other aliens stopped considering it as an option. Most alien populations now view service to humanity as their natural purpose. This was perhaps the most remarkable change. Alien species that had once considered themselves equals to humanity now accepted their subordinate status as normal. Generations of aliens would grow up knowing only human rule, making rebellion not just impossible but unthinkable. Ambassador Da-Yoon Kim, who had once advocated for peaceful cooperation with alien species, now served as head of the Imperial Colonial Service. Her job was to ensure that former alien worlds contributed maximum benefit to human civilization. Production. Reports show that resource extraction from former alien worlds has increased by 400% since we implemented direct administration, she reported. Elimination of alien governmental inefficiencies has allowed us to access resources they never properly utilized. Under alien control, many worlds had been managed for sustainability and environmental protection. Under human management, they were stripped of useful materials as quickly and efficiently as possible. If this made them uninhabitable for aliens, humans could always move them to other reservations. Admiral Hyun-Woo Park, now aged and bearing scars from the war, served as Chancellor Lee's senior military advisor. He had become a legendary figure throughout human space, the man who had led humanity's transformation from victims to galactic rulers. Admiral, do you believe we've achieved our security objectives? Chancellor Lee asked. Park studied the galactic displays showing human ships patrolling every important system. Green symbols marked worlds under complete human control. Yellow symbols indicated alien reservations being monitored for compliance. There were no red symbols left, no areas beyond human authority. No alien species currently possesses the capability to threaten humanity, Park confirmed. More importantly, our control systems ensure they never will. The quantum communication network allows us to coordinate responses to any problem instantly across the entire galaxy. The network that had enabled humanity's victory now served as the backbone of galactic administration. Every human ship, base, and colony could communicate instantly with every other. Commands from Earth could reach the farthest human outpost in seconds. No alien group could organize resistance faster than humans could respond to eliminate them. What about future generations? Chancellor Lee asked. Can we ensure that humans 500 years from now will remain safe? This was the crucial question. The war had made humanity dominant, but dominance meant nothing if it couldn't be maintained permanently. Dr. Na Young Kim answered confidently. The control systems we've implemented are self-reinforcing. Each generation of aliens will be less capable than the previous one. We've limited their access to education, technology, and resources. In 200 years, most alien species will barely remember they were ever independent. It was a long-term plan, designed to eliminate the possibility of future threats. Alien species would gradually lose the knowledge and capabilities needed for advanced civilization. They would become permanently dependent on human technology and administration. Later that day, Chancellor Lee walked through the memorial garden that had been built on Nexus Prime to honor human losses during the war. The garden was beautiful, with plants from Earth growing alongside flowers from dozens of former alien worlds. At its center stood a simple monument listing the names of every human who had died because of the Council's betrayal. Ambassador Da-Un Kim joined her there, as she often did when discussing the war's aftermath. Do you ever wonder if we went too far? Taeun asked quietly. Chancellor Lee considered the question seriously. The aliens made a choice to eliminate our species. They spent decades planning our extermination and conducted medical experiments on our children. They forced us to become what we needed to become to survive. But look what we've become, Da-Un replied. We rule the galaxy through fear and force. We've eliminated entire species and enslaved the others. Are we still the same humans who once believed in peace and cooperation? It was a question many humans asked themselves privately, though few discussed it openly. The humans who had emerged victorious from the war were fundamentally different from those who had once sought to build a better galaxy through cooperation with alien species. We're alive, Chancellor Lee said simply. Our children are safe. No alien species will ever again have the capability to threaten a human family. That's what matters. As the two women stood in the memorial garden, human ships continued their eternal patrol of the galaxy. In the distance, alien workers could be seen maintaining the gardens under human supervision. They worked quietly and efficiently, knowing that their continued existence depended on perfect service to their human administrators. The galaxy was at peace, but it was the peace of absolute human dominance. There were no more wars because there was no one left capable of challenging humanity. There were no more political conflicts because all important decisions were made by humans. Admiral Hyun-Woo Park joined them in the garden as the artificial sun began to set over Nexus Prime. He was older now, his hair completely gray, but his eyes still held the determination that had led humanity through its darkest hour. "Any regrets, Admiral?" Chancellor Lee asked. Park looked out over the peaceful scene, human children playing safely while alien servants maintained the gardens. It was a scene that would have been impossible during the old Galactic Council, when humans had to constantly worry about alien conspiracies and hidden threats. "They taught us that in this galaxy, there are only predators and prey," Park said quietly. "They just never realized which one we were." As night fell over Nexus Prime, the quantum communication network carried status reports from the Galactic Council's leaders finally understood their mistake when human fleets began arriving at alien homeworlds. These weren't the disciplined, merciful forces that had once helped maintain galactic peace. These were predators who had stopped pretending to be anything else. Admiral Bo-Ram Park, sister to Admiral Hyun-woo Park, commanded the Earth Defense Force fleet that reclaimed humanity's outer colonies. What her forces discovered there changed everything about how humans would fight this war. On Kepler Colony, which had been home to 2 million humans, Bo-Ram's soldiers found only empty buildings and poisoned soil. The aliens hadn't just killed the colonists, they had used biological weapons to make the planet uninhabitable for centuries. "General, you need to see this," called Major Sung Ho-yoon as his team explored the colony's medical center. Bo-Ram followed him into what had been the colony's hospital. In the basement, they found laboratories filled with equipment that made her feel sick, operating tables sized for humans, medical devices designed to cause pain rather than healing, thousands of tissue samples stored in freezers. They were experimenting on living humans, Major Yoon reported, his voice shaking with anger. "Men, women, children. The records show they've been doing this for 20 years. They told the colonists it was routine medical care." Bo-Ram read through the alien medical files. The experiments had been designed to find ways to make humans weaker, less intelligent, and more dependent on alien technology. Worst of all, the aliens had been testing biological weapons on human children to see how young humans would react to different toxins. "How many colonies?" Bo-Ram asked. "So far, we've found evidence of human experimentation on 37 different worlds. The aliens weren't just planning genocide, Admiral. They were practicing it." Similar discoveries were being made throughout human space. Diplomat Woo Jin Choi, who had once worked to maintain peace between species, now found himself documenting alien war crimes that went far beyond anything in galactic history. On Proxima Colony, General Yoonji Kim's ground forces found underground chambers filled with human remains. The alien experiments hadn't been limited to medical research. They had been testing different methods of killing humans to find the most efficient techniques for mass extermination. "They've been planning this for generations," General Kim reported to Admiral Hyun-woo Park. "Some of these facilities are over 50 years old. They've been slowly eliminating human populations for decades, making it look like accidents or natural disasters." The revelation triggered what human psychologists would later call the rage response. Human forces across the galaxy stopped targeting only military objectives and began systematic destruction of alien civilization itself. It wasn't enough to win the war anymore. Humans wanted to ensure that no alien species would ever again have the capability to threaten humanity. Captain Ye Jin. Seo's stealth ships began attacking alien civilian targets with the same ruthless efficiency they had shown against military convoys, food production facilities, water treatment plants, power generation stations. Anything that kept alien civilizations functioning became a target. "But these are non-combatants," her weapons officer protested after receiving orders to destroy an alien agricultural center. "No," Ye Jin replied coldly. "There are no non-combatants in a war of extermination. They chose to make this about the survival of our species. Now they get to experience what that really means." Dr. Ji-hoon Bae's psychological warfare operations evolved into something far more terrible. Using captured alien communication networks, he began broadcasting footage of what human forces had discovered in the secret laboratories. "Citizens of the galaxy," his voice reached every alien world. "Your leaders have been conducting medical experiments on human children for 50 years. You allowed them to torture our families while pretending to be our friends. Now you will learn what humans do to species that harm our young." The broadcasts included detailed footage of the alien experiments, along with recordings of alien officials discussing their plans to eliminate humanity. The psychological impact was devastating. Many alien worlds experienced complete social collapse as their populations learned the truth about what their governments had been doing. But the most terrifying moment for alien forces came when Captain Jin-Ho Lee's modified ship appeared in orbit around the Valari homeworld. His vessel had grown even larger, incorporating technology from dozens of captured alien ships. It now resembled some kind of mechanical monster more than a recognizable spacecraft. Valari High Command, Jin-Ho broadcast to the planet below. You have been found guilty of crimes against humanity. Your species participated in the systematic torture and murder of human children. The sentence is extinction. What happened next became known throughout the galaxy as the Valari demonstration. Jin-Ho's ship didn't simply attack the planet. It began converting the entire world into a weapon factory. Machines descended from orbit and began consuming everything they touched, turning rocks, plants, and buildings into more machines that could build weapons and ships. Within 72 hours, the Valari homeworld had been transformed into an automated military production facility, controlled by human artificial intelligence. The planet's population was relocated to small reservation areas while machines stripped their world bare to build more tools of war. This world now belongs to humanity, Jin-Ho announced. Its resources will be used to build weapons that will ensure no alien species ever again considers harming human children. The Valari people will be allowed to live, but only as our servants. The message was clear. Surrender meant slavery. Resistance meant extinction. Admiral Hyunwoo Park received daily reports of similar conquests across the galaxy. Human forces weren't just defeating alien militaries. They were dismantling alien civilizations and rebuilding them to serve human purposes. The Krex insect worlds were converted into automated factories that produced weapons for human forces. The Taurian peace-loving species found their beautiful crystal cities occupied by human administrators, who used them as coordination centers for military operations. The aquatic hydros discovered that their ocean worlds now served as testing grounds for new human naval technologies. Admiral, 17 alien species have offered complete and unconditional surrender, reported his intelligence officer. They're willing to accept any terms to end the fighting. Park studied the galactic map on his command center's main screen. Red areas showed worlds under human control, which now included most of the galaxy's major systems. The few remaining independent alien territories were small, isolated, and surrounded by human forces. What are they offering? Park asked. Everything. Complete disarmament. Reparations covering all human losses. Technology transfers. Some species are offering to become human colonies voluntarily. Park thought about this for a long moment. The war could end now with humanity victorious beyond their wildest dreams. They would control the galaxy and have access to technologies from dozens of different species. But then he remembered the children on Kepler Colony. The secret laboratories. The decades of lies and betrayal. Send a message to all remaining alien governments, Park ordered. Tell them that the time for surrender has passed. They declared a war of extinction against humanity. We accept their terms. This war will continue until we are certain that no alien species will ever again possess the capability to threaten a human child. The response that went out across the galaxy was simple. The Galactic Council chose to test whether humanity could be destroyed. The test is now complete. Results negative. Humanity cannot be destroyed. The same cannot be said for your species. As human fleets continued their advance toward the remaining alien worlds, the galaxy began to understand that the humans who would emerge victorious from this war were fundamentally different from the ones who had once sought peaceful cooperation. They had been transformed from civilized members of a galactic community into something far more dangerous. Apex predators whose children had been threatened. There would be no mercy, no negotiation, and no return to the way things were before. The galaxy belonged to humanity now, and humanity had learned that the universe was full of species that could not be trusted with human lives. The age of human restraint was over forever. Admiral Hyunwoo Park's fleet moved through space toward the mysterious coordinates. Around them, the battle for Earth continued as alien ships bombarded the planet's defenses. Park had left half his ships to protect humanity's homeworld, but he knew they could not hold out for long against such overwhelming numbers. The coordinates led them to what looked like empty space in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. Park had patrolled this area many times and had never seen anything unusual here, but as his ships approached the exact location, something incredible happened. Space itself seemed to ripple and bend. Suddenly, a massive structure appeared before them. It was larger than any space station Park had ever seen, hidden by technology that made it completely invisible. The structure was clearly human-built, with clean lines and familiar design patterns, but it was far more advanced than anything Earth's government had ever announced. "This is General Tae-min Yoon of Forge Station," came a voice over the communication system. "Welcome, Admiral Park. We've been waiting for this day, though we hoped it would never come." Park had heard of General Yoon only in whispers and classified reports. He was rumored to be in charge of humanity's most secret military projects. Now Park understood why no one talked about him openly. "General, what is this place?" Park asked as his ships docked with the station. "This is humanity's insurance policy," Yoon replied. "Come aboard, Admiral. There's much you need to see." Inside Forge Station, Park found himself in a world he never knew existed. The station stretched for kilometers in every direction, filled with laboratories, weapons testing facilities, and construction bays building ships unlike anything in the official human fleet. General Yoon was a man in his 60s with gray hair and sharp eyes that seemed to see everything. He led Park through corridors filled with scientists and engineers working on projects that looked 50 years ahead of known human technology. "We've been building this for 57 years, Yoon explained as they walked. "Ever since humanity joined the Galactic Council, some of us worried that our new alien friends might not remain friendly forever. We were right to be concerned." They entered a massive laboratory where engineer So-Ra Han was working on a device that made the air around it shimmer with energy. She was young, probably in her 30s, but her eyes held the confidence of someone who understood forces that could reshape the universe. "Show him the singularity weapon," Yoon ordered. So-Ra activated the device, and a small black sphere appeared in a containment field. Park could feel its incredible power even through the protective barriers. The sphere was no larger than a marble, but he somehow knew it could destroy an entire star system. "We call them star killers," So-Ra explained simply. "One of these can make a sun collapse into a black hole. We have 300 of them ready for deployment." Park felt his world shifting around him. "The government knows about this?" "Some members do, others don't. We've been funded by a small group of leaders who understood that humanity might someday need weapons that our enemies couldn't imagine," Yoon said. "We also have something else that will change this war completely." They moved to another section of the station where Commander Dong-Hyun Kim was overseeing the installation of strange devices on human ships. The devices looked like crystalline structures that pulsed with blue light. "Quantum communication nodes," Commander Kim explained. "Every human ship, colony, and military base has one of these installed secretly. They can send messages instantly across any distance faster than light, with no way for alien forces to intercept or block them." Park began to understand. "You mean we can coordinate our entire military instantly, while the aliens are still using normal communication that takes time to travel between star systems?" "Exactly," Yoon confirmed. "But that's not all. Dr. Mi-young Choi's research on Nexus Prime has revealed something terrible about our alien allies." They brought up Dr. Choi on the quantum communication system. Her face appeared as a hologram, and Park could see she was hiding somewhere on Nexus Prime while the alien bombardment continued. "Admiral, I've discovered that several alien species have been conducting illegal experiments on humans for decades," she said, her voice full of anger and fear. "They've been kidnapping human colonists, studying our biology and trying to find ways to make us weaker." "What kind of experiments?" Park asked, though he wasn't sure he wanted to know. "Genetic modification attempts to limit human intelligence and physical abilities. Biological weapons designed to target specific human organs. Worst of all, they've been secretly adding chemicals to food supplies sent to human colonies. Chemicals designed to reduce human birth rates and make our children less healthy." Park felt rage building inside him. The aliens hadn't just planned to attack humanity. They had been slowly poisoning human children for years. "There's more," Dr. Choi continued. "I found records showing that this conspiracy involves almost every species in the Council. They've been planning this for over 80 years since shortly after we joined. They were never our friends, Admiral. They were always planning to destroy us." Commander Kim showed Park more of the station's capabilities. Hidden manufacturing facilities could build thousands of advanced warships. Weapon development labs had created tools of war that violated every treaty humanity had signed with the Galactic Council. Most importantly, They had developed tactics and strategies that no civilized species would ever consider using. The aliens think they know how humans fight because they've seen our military exercises and joint operations, Commander Kim explained. But we've always held back. We've followed their rules of war, their ideas of honor and civilized combat. They have no idea what humans are capable of when we stop following those rules. General Yoon led Park to the station's command center, where tactical displays showed the current state of the war. Red symbols marked human colonies under attack across the galaxy. The aliens had struck simultaneously at every human settlement, catching Earth's scattered forces completely by surprise. Admiral, our official fleet number's about 800 ships, Yoon said. The aliens have over 6,000. In a conventional war following council rules of engagement, we would lose within weeks. Park studied the displays. But this won't be a conventional war, will it? No, it won't. Yoon smiled, but it was not a pleasant expression. For over a century, humanity has been the galaxy's peacekeepers. We've stopped wars, protected weaker species, and followed every law and treaty. The aliens see this as weakness. They don't understand that human restraint is a choice, not a limitation. Sora Han joined them at the command center. Admiral, we have weapons here that could destroy entire alien civilizations. We also have the complete genetic profiles of every council species. We know their weaknesses, their fears, and exactly how to hurt them most effectively. The question, Yoon said seriously, is whether you're prepared to give the order that will change humanity forever. Once we stop fighting like civilized members of the Galactic Council and start fighting like the apex predators we evolved to be, there will be no going back. Park thought about the children being poisoned on human colonies. He thought about the decades of lies and secret experiments. He thought about alien ships bombing Earth while his own species had trusted them as friends. General, activate the quantum communication network, Park ordered. Send a message to every human ship, base, and colony in the galaxy. What should the message say, Admiral? Park's voice was cold and calm when he answered. Authorization Omega-7 confirmed. All human forces are hereby released from Galactic Council engagement protocols. Rules of war are suspended. Show them why we conquered our own world before we conquered the stars. As the message spread instantly across the galaxy through the quantum network, human forces everywhere received the same orders. The war was about to change in ways the aliens could never have imagined. On distant colonies, human commanders smiled grimly as they read the authorization. In hidden bases, weapons that had been stored for decades were finally activated. Across human space, the most dangerous species the galaxy had ever produced was about to stop pretending to be civilized. The aliens thought they were fighting humanity's military. They were about to learn they had declared war on humanity itself.